Hello, everybody. Eric here with a weekly wrap up for February 23rd through March 1st. Hopefully, I have those dates correct. Uh, on the channel, last Monday, I posted a review for The Night Guest, which was part of my book bundle of books translated into English. I'm not going to try to pronounce the author's name without actually looking at it, but it was The Night Guest, translated from Icelandic. On Friday was the review for the final book of 5 books translated into English, which was Three Assassins, again, translated from Japanese. And well, first of all, I'm not going to try to pronounce the author's name without looking at it. It's a book in the Assassins series, of which Bullet Train is a part. Bullet Train was a fantastic book. I still haven't watched the movie. I thought Three Assassins was a prequel, but technically it was the first book written and published in Japan, and then Bullet Train, and then there's 2 more that I need to pick up. The only reason I thought it was a prequel is because Bullet Train was published in the US. The translated version was published first, and then Three Assassins was published after that. But technically, it's the first book. So that review went up, and that was the final of the books translated into English. And of course, reading remembrances for January of 2006. We're just plugging along through all the books that I've read since 1985. Excuse me. So I think, would that put us about halfway through? 85 to 2005 would be 20 years. 2005 to 2025, another 20 years. Look at that. So yeah, we're just over halfway through, or about halfway through. How exactly would you look at that? I suppose slightly, just the tiniest bit over halfway through. So that went up, and of course a weekly wrap up. On the reading front, I finished Psycho 2. I believe this was finished after the last time I recorded one of these videos. Nice die-cut cover there. Psycho 2 by Robert Bloch. I'll be recording the review for this shortly. And that was the first in the current book bundle that I'm doing, which I sort of did spur of the moment, but it's books with 2 in the title, or books that are a part 2. So, or not part 2 though, it's just 2 books that are a 2. Because I did have a book that I could have added to this bundle, but it said part 2 versus just 2. So anyway, I read Psycho 2. I followed that up with Damien Omen 2. I'll be recording the review for that shortly. I am currently reading, looks like I'm about, a hair under halfway through, currently reading The Unseen 2 by Brian Smith. Hopefully I'll finish that up this weekend. And the next book is Jaws 2. And after that, the final book in this particular bundle will be The Amityville Horror 2. That's what's going on the reading front. Played a brand new game, bought and played, brand new to me. The game came out a few years ago, and this is Planet of the Apes. Big fan of the Planet of the Apes franchise, except for one particular movie. I think most people can guess which one that is. But this is, there you go. It's basically a dice chucking game. I like rolling lots of dice. You're working your way through the movie. There's this numbered track on the board. If the Statue of Liberty, which starts at 13, ever gets to 0, you automatically lose the game. Throughout different encounters, Taylor and the apes go on the track on different numbers. You're trying to get Taylor to 0 before the ape gets to 0. If Taylor gets there, you win that particular encounter or that scene. If the apes get there, you lose. If you win, of course, there's good things that happen. If you lose, actually, if you win, you just move on to the next scene. If you lose, there are penalties. Plays up to 4 players, and you're each essentially Taylor, just different aspects of Taylor. There are action cards and special cards, and the encounters just give you, for the most part, the majority of them are dice combinations that you have to roll. Like, you may have to roll a full house, and the card will tell you you get 5 white dice to roll. It tells you you can roll up to 3 times, and then it will show you which types of cards you can use to try to help yourself. And the cards might give you extra dice to roll, or re-rolls of dice, just all sorts of different things. And so you're trying to beat this particular encounter, you need to roll a full house, 2 of a kind and 3 of a kind. And again, if you do it, there is a positive outcome. If you don't do it, there is a negative outcome. Typically, the positive outcome is moving Taylor closer to 0. The negative outcome is moving the ape closer to 0. And then you might get maybe more special cards or action cards, or these little tokens that give you help you use your special skill. Anyway, it's a lot of fun. There are a number of similar games where you're rolling dice and trying to match things, but there's a lot of tension in this. I found when we played it today, and we actually won. I think we played it correctly, first time playing, but I'd already watched a playthrough video, read all the rules, and looked at the FAQ on Board Game Geek. So I think we did everything correctly. We just got lucky. We did have a lot of really, really lucky rolls. Like one of the last encounters I tried, I had to get a full house. I got it on the very first roll. Craziness. It was very, very close, though. But we made it all the way to the end, and we survived by the skin of our teeth. A lot of fun, and only $22 on Amazon. So, easily worth the money. I worked every day this week. Got a little bit of overtime. Next week is payday, and I've made a major decision, but I'm not going to tell you about that until next week because it involves payday. Won't happen until payday. And really, that is about it. I told you what I read. I didn't watch anything except some YouTube stuff. I did participate in the economic blackout. I don't remember exactly what they were calling it, but there was a call on February 28th to not spend any money at all if you could. If you had to, only go with independent or small mom and pop shops. Do not shop. No shopping on Amazon, Walmart, any big corporation. Very easy for me. Most days I don't spend any money. Normally on Friday is when I would go to Walmart and restock my Mountain Dew and stuff. But I have plenty, so it was easy not to go. I actually don't think I've spent any money since Monday or Tuesday. So, and some people were saying, don't just do it on one day because nobody's going to notice. Do it Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Try to make a bigger impact. And I didn't spend any money any of those days. And so who knows if it's going to make any type of difference, if any corporation will notice. I'm not going to get into crazy politics because then I'll want to pound my head into my table. So let's leave it at that. Coming up this week, I don't need to tell you what's coming up this week. I already told you what I was reading. And I'll just save any announcements, anything that goes on for the next weekly wrap-up. So that's it. That's what I did this week. Feels like there's less and less to talk about. Obviously, I'm getting less reading done since I've gone back to work. But it is nice having a paycheck. I didn't go to the comic book store. They're not really pulling that much for me anymore. I didn't order anything for 5 months. So there's no trade paperbacks or anything coming in. And there's only a few, very few floppies that I get. So since I only get paid every other week, I figure I'll only go to the comic book shop every other week, go on payday, pick up the few things. I still make a list because they send me a list of everything that's supposed to be coming in. I mean, they do that for all their customers they have emails for. So only 2 things were supposed to come in for me this week, which was Batman Full Moon number 4, which is a Black Label, I believe, and Moon Knight Fist of Khonshu number 6, the current ongoing Moon Knight series. So that's it. That's all that was. Or no, that's next week. So that's what's coming in next week. So last week, or this week, excuse me, 2 things. Blade number 5, which is Red Band, so it's the more graphic book, and Savage Sword of Conan number 7, which is the rebirth of the classic Marvel Savage Sword of Conan black and white comic book magazine. It's now published by Titan, and it's essentially the same thing that it was back in the day from Marvel. It's black and white comics. You might have, it's got multiple stories. There's some prose in it. Sometimes so a multi-part prose story, and then you'll have like a one little short story, and then maybe a multi-part story that's going to cross a few issues. But anyway, it was a great magazine back in the day. It's a pretty good magazine now. I've only read the first issue so far. I have the first 6, but I've only read the first one, and I really enjoyed it. Had a Solomon Kane story in it, which is very exciting because I love Solomon Kane. Anyway, the point was only going to the comic book store twice a month now, essentially, or every 2 weeks, and not a lot of stuff coming out, not a lot of stuff getting pulled for me. So in essentially 2 weeks, 2 weeks' time, 4 comics coming out for me. Although sometimes there are some things that they pull that I don't remember that I ordered a long time ago or something, because sometimes things are late. And so those show up as a little surprise. But yeah, that's it. That's all that's going on. Going back to work has changed things. But I'm going to keep reading, and I'm going to keep recording. And what's going on with you? How was your week? Did you read anything good? Did you watch anything good? Did you play any games? Let me know in the comments below. If you have any comments, questions, or corrections, please put those in the comments below. Comments are open for spoilers. Just post a spoiler warning. We try to be polite here on my channel. Please like, share, and subscribe, all the usual YouTube stuff. And if you'd care to follow me on other social media, I'll have links for my Instagram and Bluesky in the description below. And, well, that's all I've got for you this week. So until next week, read more books.